Let's talk about productivity, strategies, coaching, implementation, all that stuff. It's something that is relatively misunderstood. A lot of people, in a similar way that they think decluttering and organizing are the same thing, many people confuse or conflate productivity with organization. So it really is the kind of trifecta to an overall holistic organizing approach.
So I was doing in-person organizing in Chicago, like a lot of the professional organizers out there, and then also some virtual options too, so I could reach some other folks. But since then, I shifted to fully virtual offerings and then expanded to productivity coaching as well to reach more women. And so I think you were actually the person that told me this a while ago, that decluttering and organizing they're the gateway to being more productive. And I know we'll touch on that later, but expanding into, kind of the productivity space has helped me just really continue to support women on their journey to a more intentional life.
So we're going to talk about how it fits into that puzzle, whether you're somebody who struggles with productivity yourself in your business, personal life, or if you're looking for strategies and ways to implement it into your business to offer to your clients. We're going to be talking about some different ways that happens. My friend Natalie is coming on the show today. She is a productivity coach and she offers a lot of coursework around that online. Her business is 100% digital in the organizing industry. And so we're going to talk about all that stuff today. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be talking about digital organizing strategies, tools and software, some tech in there. So I encourage you guys to stick around, get your notepads out, and let's get into it. Hey, and welcome to the Speak Organized podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Summers, and I'm your go-to gal for all things pro-organizing business. I am also a professional organizer and a business coach, among many other things in the industry. And I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. Do me a favor, if you are brand new here today, I don't want you to miss out on any of the upcoming episodes, including this one. So go ahead and take out your device and tap that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the opportunity to learn something new with us every single week. Also be sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, to give us a big old thumbs up and tap that notification bell so you're notified whenever we post new content. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, you can leave us a rave 5-star review, which helps us grow and connect with more amazing folks just like you. I also want to make sure that if you are not in my free Facebook group yet, that you come and join us. That information will be down in the description of the video and the podcast show notes. If you're an organizing enthusiast with questions, or you're getting ready to start or level up your organizing business, it is the place to be. So be sure to check that out and join us there.
The main mission here at I Speak Organized is to give you the best quality tools and resources to level up your business and have a truly successful 6 or 7-figure business that doesn't suck away all of your time. So if you're brand new to all of this and it seems very overwhelming, you don't really know where to start, you have come to the right place. I am your go-to gal for all things pro-organizing business. If you're afraid that you aren't enough, like you don't have enough experience or you don't really have the goods to bring to the table to charge what other people charge, or whatever story you happen to be telling yourself, I am here to help you understand that you can be exceptional with the right tools and training. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how I can help you with that. But in the meantime, let's get into this juicy interview.
All right, my friends, I want to welcome Natalie to the podcast. She's been on the show before. She's actually one of my very first guests when the show was like in proto mode. We hadn't even officially launched yet. So I'm really excited to have you back, Natalie. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back and to chat again and just catch up. It's been a while. So
I know it has been a while. And I have to say that I have been, over the course of knowing you virtually, essentially, I've always been really impressed with your sense of consistency with your business. For those of you, just to give you guys a little bit of a background, Natalie has a full-time job in a different industry, and she's doing this as well and has just always been so consistent. You've never, you must have really good systems. You must be extremely productive. So obviously that's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. I've got tips to share. So.
Yes, I'm sure you do. And I'm very curious to hear all of the things that you have going on and just kind of see where you are on this journey. So let me pull up the correct notes here. I'm looking at the wrong podcast guest notes here.
Oh, good.
So it's been, let's say about 4 years. So I want to hear a little bit about your journey from that time, the last time you came on to now? Because we're going to be talking about digital organization and productivity coaching. So how has your business sort of evolved since the last time we talked?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's definitely been a while. Back when we talked, I think it was relatively soon after I had launched the Organized Aesthetic. So I did both in-person and virtual organizing. So I was doing in-person organizing in Chicago, like a lot of the professional organizers out there, and then also some virtual options too, so I could reach some other folks. But since then, I shifted to fully virtual offerings and then expanded to productivity coaching as well, to reach more women. And so I think you were actually the person that told me this a while ago, that decluttering and organizing they're the gateway to being more productive. And I know we'll touch on that later, but expanding into, kind of the productivity space has helped me just really continue to support women on their journey to a more intentional life. So like once we get them organized, then I can keep helping them and just kind of implement systems. So now that our space is in order, let's kind of get our routine in order as well. So I've gotten to expand into that. And so now I offer, some virtual one-on-one packages, but then I'm also doing a lot of coursework so that I can arm women with tools if they want to DIY the productivity and the organizing stuff, or they're on a limited budget. So been working to expand into that space.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's so many different options available to us if you think about different ways that you want to help your community. And the one thing I love that you pointed out is that you now have a way to reach a wider variety of people, a larger audience, and the ability to continue to help them. So it's kind of like an ongoing relationship that you've been able to build.
Exactly. Yep. And just, I think that's one of the biggest things with organizing is I don't just want to get somebody organized and then leave them hanging. So I think this is a great way to be able to continue to support them.
Absolutely. And you're able to do all of it virtually now, which is amazing.
Yes, which is awesome. Not something I pictured at the start of all this, but I'm excited we're there.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And I know there are a lot of people watching and listening that are going to be intrigued by that and may want to chat a little bit more about it. But I want to talk about some of your fundamental principles about organizing. So obviously you mentioned that your business was very different when you first started. In our last conversation, you shared a lot of the fundamental principles that you had then. So I'm just curious about how your strategies have changed or improved in recent times and kind of what you recommend overall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I have always kind of relied on a 5-step signature organizing process. And that's from, setting goals all the way through maintaining your space. And that process can really be applied to any space in the home. I walk through it in detail in one of my courses. But really, I think that process has stuck with me over the past couple of years, but I refined it and, kind of figured that out a little bit more. I think the big thing with that organizing process, so it's great, it can be applied to any space in the home. But now I've been able to figure out, almost use it as a baseline to apply that process to productivity as well. So things like setting your goals first, things like auditing your time, purging your responsibilities. So you're decluttering in a way, grouping like tasks together when you categorize your belongings. So there's a lot of synergies there. And I think that that's kind of the biggest way that I've seen, the strategies and principles that I rely on evolve over the years is that, I've gotten them down to a science in terms of organizing and now applying them to the productivity space, which has been really cool and relatively seamless, which is great.
Yeah, and super important. And I think there is often a misunderstanding of what productivity actually is, what productivity coaching is, and how it relates to being organized. It's very similar to how people assume that decluttering and organizing are the same thing when they're two very separate processes.
Absolutely.
That are connected, right? So, and I know that productivity habits and practices are very much the same. A lot of people kind of conflate the two or get them confused. So I want you to talk us through that a little bit, since that is something that you now specialize in specifically. So you mentioned the potential link between getting organized and being more productive. So can you elaborate a little bit on that connection and kind of how it impacts your clients and sort of what the overall differences are there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said earlier, so you told me that, decluttering and organizing, it really is the gateway to a more productive life. And the way to explain that is when your space is in order, you can think and operate way more clearly and way more efficiently. So I like to kind of paint the picture for folks, like with a story of, think about it. You wake up in the morning and you are ready to tackle your to-do list. You're ready to be productive, but then you can't find your keys. And so you're late taking the kids to school and you're all discombobulated. You come back, you see a ton of mail like scattered around that you didn't address before. And so now you're tending to that. Some of that mail is bills. And so you start paying those. And then you remember you need to check in with your financial advisor. And you just keep going down this rabbit hole. Next thing you know, the kids are home. You got nothing you actually wanted to get done. You're crossing things off a list, but not what you were focused on. And all of those distractions likely wouldn't have happened if the keys were where they should have been. If the mail was placed in a to sort bin, if they had a place in the home to go. And so, like I said before, when you really bring this functionality and order to your space through decluttering and then through organizing, falling down those rabbit holes happens far less frequently. Like not never, right? Because we're human, but way less frequently. And like I said, because you're able to think clearly, you're able to operate efficiently because there's not, a bunch of stuff scattered throughout. So you can walk in your home, you feel at ease, and then you're able to tackle whatever it is in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the productivity aspect is sort of more of the habits that eliminate those rabbit holes.
For sure.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way to kind of summarize that. And honestly, I feel like, you and I do this for a living. I feel like I have days like that all the time,
Absolutely.
but I'm grateful for the systems that we have set in place. And I'm grateful for, the times that I've triggered a purge that get rid of all of the excess so that I can get back on track that much more quickly. It really is such a game changer when you're busy.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, to your point of just having those systems in place. It's like once you have those in place, things are going to get out of order. I mean, like I said, we're all human. We all have a lot going on, but having those systems in place, it just makes it so much easier to get back to where you need to be. So I think that's very key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, pop quiz time. How would you feel 6 months from now if you were sitting in this same spot and you owned your own professional organizing business that was booked out with clients that you actually really like to work with every single day? How would you feel in that moment? I imagine that you'd feel pretty good, but we're sitting here today and there might be something holding you back. It could be that little doubt whispering to you, who am I to do this? And I'm here to tell you right now that I have been there, we've all been there, and it is not only possible to overcome those fears, but it is essential because there are people out there right now who need someone exactly like you. Remember, I am here in your corner to help you with this process. My brand new mini course, From Overlooked to Overbooked, it's all about finding and attracting the right clients for your business to book your calendar solid with proven strategies. No more reinventing the wheel. I'm going to show you how to set up and optimize your website and boost your visibility with SEO strategies that actually work, that I use in my own business and many of my clients do as well. I'm going to show you how to promote your business so that you don't feel like a sleazy used car salesman from the 1980s. And I'm going to show you marketing strategies and materials that you definitely haven't come across. They are specific to our industry. And I'm going to show you how to network effectively, who to talk to. I'm going to give you scripts and I'm going to give you templates, all the things that you need to feel confident stepping into your business owner's shoes and rocking it to build a successful organizing business. And lastly, I want to invite you, if you're ready for more tools and you want to get paying clients in the door faster, to go pick up my Pro Organizer Forms Pack, which has 9 done-for-you forms in a free Canva account that are 100% customizable templates. You get access to all the essential forms that you need to onboard your clients and run your business professionally. You get the client agreement, health and safety waiver, credit card authorization form, and so many other forms that you will need to run your business. You start with the starter pack or the premium pack. You have 2 options to choose from. And again, that information is linked down below. As a thank you for being an amazing member of my speaker fam, you're going to get $8 off both my Overbooked course and my Pro Organizer Forms Pack using the code YTPRO8 at checkout. So that's it. No more waiting. It is time to step up and make your dreams a reality because your future as a sought-after professional organizer is just one decision away.
So I want to dive into one specific area of organizing that a lot of productivity sort of funnels into, and it's something that very often gets overlooked. And we're going to talk about digital organization because I know this is something that you're very keen on, that you work in that space. And so what are some common challenges that you feel like people face today
in terms of digital organization? And what are some solutions that you can recommend to get them started?
Right. Well, I love, first of all, what you said about the fact that, productivity and digital organization, super related. Obviously, organization and productivity in general are, but you have a lot of things at your disposal in terms of the digital world to help be more productive. So I love a digital organization. Like I said, we live in a very digital world. We are constantly checking emails, texts, social media, on top of storing photos, videos, files, all that jazz. And because it's not the space we physically live in, like you said, it kind of gets overlooked. It's often neglected. And people will therefore, in terms of, digital space, default to a search function if they're trying to find something. And while this can work, oftentimes, what they have set up, what these tools have set up might not be super intuitive. Like think about the last time you tried to find an email by using the search bar in Outlook. Like good luck with that. And so ultimately you're wasting a lot of time. So there are, and again, that's, connected to that productivity piece. So there are a few different solutions, and these are really just the tip of the iceberg, but some things that I tell folks: doing regular digital backups and purges. So again, you see that link between, that organizing and productivity. But you go ahead and get rid of the old emails, get rid of the old files, photos. One thing I even take it a step further for is people you don't remember how you became friends with them on Facebook. Like there's so much digital real estate that you don't even realize like is being taken up. So making sure that you're doing those regular backups and purges. In addition to that, so it's like once you get all that stuff cleared out, you got to create like a folder structure for both your emails, your files. It's just easier to find what you need a lot quicker. So again, you kind of see how you're going through that organizing process in the digital space. And then for maintenance, you can take advantage of a lot of the digital tools out there. So I think, people struggle a lot with one of the big challenges, email clutter, right? We're constantly being fed email. Passwords, managing your passwords. How many times do they make you change your password? And so you can take advantage of digital tools. There's one called Unroll Me to help keep email clutter at bay. LastPass to keep your passwords in one spot. So there's just a lot of tools out there, and I could go on and on about all the different ones out there. I know we have limited time, but really leaning into that and taking advantage of what's available to you is going to be helpful, because otherwise that digital real estate just gets incredibly overwhelming.
Absolutely. And I'm sure I probably will ask you a little bit more about the digital tool aspect in a bit. And I'm sure a lot of people, that's something that you can guide them through in your course or one-on-one as well, because it's hard to figure out what's going to be the best, most functional tool to use for you. And it's nice to have some guidance on that since there are so many. But the password thing is like, that's a real issue for us, for so many of us, especially now that the laws have changed around privacy online with search engines. You really do have to keep track of your passwords because you're asked and prompted to use them more often now. You can't just stay logged in for as long a period of time as you used to. The licensing is different. So that's a big one. So I want to ask, I want to pivot just a bit. We'll come back to the digital tools in a second. But a large part of the having a more productive environment, more productive lifestyle and habits is how you master your to-do list. I think a lot of people, that's where their brain goes when they think of like trying to be more productive and efficient, is just creating a to-do list. But I think that we are missing some crucial steps that make it practical, that make it effective. So what are some of your top tips for effectively managing your to-do list and conquering everything in a way that's actually going to be effective?
Definitely. Yeah. Like you said, I mean, it's crucial for productivity, and it doesn't mean that it's easy, because you can, it seems like your to-do list is never ending, right? I think, the older we get, the more it feels like that piles up on our plate. And I do a deep dive into a lot of the different strategies for, mastering that to-do list in another course that I have. But some of the key tips that I offer is have a way to document your to-dos like as soon as they come up. Honestly, I oftentimes just jot them down in a note in my phone, and then I sort through them, when I have designated time later that week to actually map everything out. So having some way to just always capture, any of these like tasks or to-dos that you'll randomly remember when you're driving in the car, making sure that, you have an easy way to document them so they don't, kind of go into the abyss. And then so you have all those documented, then you got to know what to-dos are actually to-dos. I think a lot of times we put way more on our plate than we actually need to. So some things can be outsourced, like, grocery pickup or laundry, if it really needs to be. Some things can be delegated to a family member. So, maybe your kiddos are getting older and now they can help out a little bit more around the house. So maybe all the things that are on your list, you can spread out a little bit and share the love. And some things don't actually have to be done at all. Sometimes they pop up into our head and then we realize later, this is just something that I thought about. Time has passed, whatever it is. So really taking a look at all those to-dos that you've documented and know which ones of those you should be addressing yourself. So that's my second one. And then from there, now that you know what your to-dos are, you got to set deadlines. There's really not a lot of other accountability here. If it's your to-do list, you can bring in help. You can, share that to-do list with others, but there's not a lot of accountability unless you have a deadline. And when you have a deadline with each of those tasks, those to-dos, you're held to it and you're likely to get your tasks done a little bit more. Now, a lot of ways that can help with all this, with documenting, with setting those deadlines, kind of like you mentioned before, the digital tools is a really great option, which we'll get into. But those are some of my key tips for just kind of making sure that you're capturing, you're documenting, and you're arming yourself for success with those to-dos.
Absolutely. I love it. And that's very succinct and well said and sounds great. So I know there's going to be people listening and watching, thinking about all of this, and they'll be like, yeah, Natalie, like, sounds awesome. It really
Right.
does. So, but how do I put that into practice? How do I, how do I see myself crossing that finish line? So I always like to ask my guests to share a story or an example of how these strategies have improved your life, a client's life, given them a more productive landscape. Like, how does that look in practical terms, and who has seen success from all of this?
Definitely. One comes to mind right off the bat, a favorite one, because it really is so simple, yet so impactful. I recently did just a productivity, coaching power hour, if you will, with an amazing woman who, like a lot of us, was really overwhelmed with everything she had on her plate. She had little kids running around, worked a part-time job, and kept the house running, all of that. And she came to me, and this was maybe the most simple ask I've ever received. She just wanted to find some uninterrupted time for herself, just to wash her hair in peace, just to not have, a million things going on, and just so she could have those 10 minutes, to herself. And we looked at her typical weekly schedule and her to-dos to see if there's anything that we could streamline more for her. And grocery pickup was one thing, like I mentioned before, that she was actually really receptive to. A lot of times it's no more expensive than getting those groceries yourself. And you can think about the difference that it makes. So this for her was going to allow her, because she had, a little bit of a bigger family, allow her to save an hour or two a week on grocery shopping, which does that sound big? No, but she can use that to get some of the other stuff done on her to-do list and for that little moment of self-care that she was seeking. And so while I tell people it doesn't sound major right off the bat, but if that were you, put yourself in that position, you're so overwhelmed. Like, think about if you could just eliminate one of your errands for the week, one of your routine errands, you feel so much better. And that's what she reported. She felt so much better having gone through the exercise, first and foremost, just seeing how she was spending her time and what she could do about it. And then now implementing that, she's found other ways to outsource, other ways to delegate. Before, she was just staying afloat, and now she's able to actually function, which is so nice and something that we should all be able to do, no matter how simple it sounds. There are ways to be able to improve your life and set yourself up for more success.
Oh, I absolutely 100% agree. And you made me think of what I experienced this morning. I'm gonna share this story because I'm also extremely busy entrepreneur running 2 different businesses, and I've got a 4 and a 5-year-old, right? And so and anybody listening who is a mom who's been in that position before can understand the desire to be able to wash your hair in peace. And seriously, this morning, I get my kids up, dressed, downstairs for breakfast. I'm still in my pajamas, absolute mess, no makeup, no shower, nothing. And I was like, okay, I want you to eat.
breakfast, and I'm going to go upstairs and take a shower. Cause like, this is what I have to, the time that I have to get it done. So I'm going upstairs, I'm doing it. And granted, we really try to impress upon our kids having an organized and functional space at home. And my daughter comes upstairs when I'm getting out of the shower and drying my hair and stuff. And she's like, Mommy, and this is my 5, almost 6-year-old. She's like, Mommy, I put all the dishes in the dishwasher away. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You did what? And like, I went downstairs, and sure enough, I kid you not, my 5-year-old had, and I don't know how she did it. She must have climbed on the counter or something, but she unloaded the entire dishwasher by herself, unprompted. And I got to, so talk about the magic of delegation. I've been telling everybody this story like all day. I called my husband and I was like, you'll never guess. I was crying. I was so
as you should.
So you're
right.
Just, to your point, just having that foundation is so, so important, and it makes such a big difference.
Absolutely. No, that's amazing. You're raising her right.
We're trying. Okay. Anyway, so to move on just a little bit, I do want to touch briefly on some of your favorite tools and apps that you recommend for staying organized and productive, because technology is rapidly advancing. We now have the introduction of AI. Everybody's a little bit freaked out by that. Yep. However, if you think of it rather as a tool, as technology that's actually been around for decades, that's just now coming to market because it's relatively functional now for the masses, like you have to kind of shift your mindset about it a little bit. But I want to hear from you, the productivity expert. Just give us a rundown. You mentioned Unroll Me and a couple of other things. What else do you recommend for staying organized and productive?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll kind of ramble off a couple of them, and then touch on the AI piece. So in terms of like all your different lists, so think shopping lists, gift ideas, to-dos, like any list that you have, maybe a note in your phone that you have like vacation spots that I want to go to. Evernote and Sunsama are, if I say it correctly, are two of the best tools that I've used, that I personally have used, that I've helped clients use. For all the different lists. It is basically a one-stop shop digital notebook. Both of them are. They both offer a ton of different templates for all of these different lists. So you don't even have to go in there and format stuff. You just say, hey, I need a shopping list template, and it'll come right up. You just say, hey, I need a meeting, agenda template, and it'll come up, whatever it is. And so those two are particularly great. I found they're very intuitive. And they just cover, all the different types of things you would want to keep track of. And that way you only have one place to go. You can have it on your phone, you can have it on your laptop, but you only have to open that app and everything you need is there. So those are some that I love. And then task management. So say you don't want to keep everything together. You just need, some tools for help with checking to-dos off your list. Monday.com, that's one that I use regularly for my business, but also in regular life. Very similar to Trello, to ClickUp, just those task management dashboards. They're nice because you can categorize your tasks, set deadlines, even set priority levels, and then check them off as you go. So those are some of like my favorite, just tools right off the bat. But I do want to touch on the AI piece. And it's funny you say that, because that was one of the first things I wrote down when I was preparing for this, is as scary as AI can be, like those words verbatim, I really think that we should embrace it. It can be so amazing for helping you in terms of the productivity space. You think about it, you can ask it to create you a to-do list based on, what you have going on this week, and actually map that out for you of when you're going to get stuff done. It can help you plan vacation itineraries. Like, it is a wild, if you haven't even just played around with it, I would encourage you to do so. Even just for different ideas of how to be more productive, how to be organized, like just talk to your little AI friend and see what's going on. It is scary. And it's something that is a little wild, how quickly, I think that it's, to your point, it's been built upon for a while, but how quickly it's been shouted to the masses since coming into market. But with that said, at first I was a little apprehensive, and now, whether it's for your TOA, whether it's for regular life or my 9 to 5, I really do use it regularly, because it is just crazy the way that, you can give it just some details and it can help you iterate on that.
True. Yeah. One example that I think of that comes to mind, and I do this with my clients as well. I use it to create my meal plans for the week for my family, because I used to,
inventory my entire fridge and build my list, what we needed, like what we were going to make for the week. And it was a very long, involved process. And it got very overwhelming and stressful with all the other responsibilities that I have going on. And so we kind of reverse engineered it and made it as easy as possible. So we just go shopping for like basically whatever like feels good, looks good, sounds good to us, what we're trying to achieve for our own health goals and all that, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
What I do at that point is I come home and I plug everything that we bought from the store plus what's already in the fridge. And I say, make my meal plan for the week, include all these foods. Boom, it spits it out. And then I will ask it to then also give me cooking instructions for the dinners. So I know like what temperature, what sauces,
Right.
it takes 30 seconds. And then I print it out and put it on the fridge. And it takes me like the whole process from start to finish for all of that is like maybe 15 minutes. It's a game changer.
It really is. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are just missing out on is the fact that, yes, it can be intimidating, but just look at the reward. Like it's not hard to figure out. The only intimidating thing about it is just the takeover, right? But it's so incredible what it's able to do for you and your peace of mind and your time and all the things that, the benefits I have found are totally worth it. So.
Yes, it definitely is important to know how to prompt it because garbage in, garbage out, right?
Sure.
So it's good to have somebody in your corner that knows how to use that and will give you the knowledge and the tools to use it properly. Yeah, I'm glad we talked about that a little bit. So I just kind of want to wrap up a little bit because I want everybody listening to get an opportunity to figure out how to get in touch with you and all of that. But for just to kind of summarize what we've talked about today, just to kind of give people some encouragement, a place to start if they're trying to DIY this, anybody that is struggling with staying organized, what are some ways that you can continue to improve on this process? What are some initial steps that you suggest they take? So on and so forth. Give me like top 3.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's accountability from a friend, whether it's hands-on decluttering and organizing help from a professional. There are so many people who are or have been where you are, and it is okay to ask for help. Not all of us were born with the organizing gene, and that's okay. We can all do it, but it might not come as intuitive, so you can ask for help. Set goals and intentions. These are going to be your motivation. Like when you do get overwhelmed, because sometimes it might get a little overwhelming. These are going to be your North Star. That's what I tell people, your why, the why you're doing it. If it's more time with your family, if it's, more time for yourself, whatever it is, these are going to be the things that push you through any sort of humps.
Love that.
And then my last one is to break it up. Rome was not built in a day, and your whole house is not going to get organized in one either. Your whole productivity systems are not going to get planned in one. You have to break it up. So if you're thinking about organizing, you don't have to do all the rooms at once. Break it up room by room. Break it up drawer by drawer if you need to. Just know that like chipping away at it is the best way to tackle it.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Well said. So just to kind of officially wrap, looking forward, what are some of your goals and what are some things that you're excited about in your business? Any new projects you've got going on, things you want to share with us, please fire away.
Awesome. Yeah. So I am really excited. Like I said, I think in the past year or so, I've definitely shifted to some of these different course offerings. I have 2 out right now, Chaos to Control Academy, which is my signature organizing course, and then To-Do List Mastery, which is going to touch on a lot of the things we talked about and go even deeper in terms of getting your to-do list in order. I do have in the works a digital organizing course as well as a time management one. So, trying to cover a couple more areas of organizing and productivity that I've heard people are very interested in. And then in addition to that, I think those are obviously some paid offerings, but I really am hosting a lot of webinars this year that I'm excited about. I'm just excited to get in front of people a little bit more. I think a lot in the past done that through Instagram, through Facebook, which has been great. But to be able to talk to people in real time and almost quote unquote go live, I'm very excited about and offer a lot of valuable knowledge, valuable information for those that can't maybe, afford a course or the one-on-one packages. So those are happening this year. Be on the lookout for those as well. And then, otherwise there's a lot of different ways you can reach me. So I'm happy to leave you guys with those unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Now, the only other thing I could think of is you have a free Facebook group as well for people to connect with you.
Yes. Yes. So my Facebook group is called Get Organized Girl Gang. It is I think, gosh, a tribe of maybe like 900 women now.
I think more than that when I checked.
Maybe. Yeah. It's something, it's rapidly grown recently, which has been amazing. So the community in there is fantastic. It's a lot of women who are in the same boat, right? We're going on an organizing and productivity journey together. And the big piece about the Facebook group is just leaning on each other. I think that's the biggest thing. Like I said, asking for help. So learning from each other's mistakes, learning from each other's successes. There's just a lot of, sharing that goes on in there, whether it's, here's a great product, here's look at my before and after. And it's just nice to know that there's other people out there who are kind of in the same boat as you. So yeah, would love to have anybody pop into the group, Get Organized Girl Gang. You'll find us there. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes. Thank you for sharing all of that. I, of course, will make sure to link all of those things down in the description below so people can find you if they want that accountability piece to it. Again, this is Natalie from The Organized Aesthetic. Natalie, thank you so, so much. It was such a pleasure to have you on and get to chat with you again and see what you're up to. You're up to amazing things. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me again. I always love talking. I always learn so much from you and love to chat and listen to this podcast. It's one of my favorites. So it is fantastic. And congratulations on its success.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fam, as always, that's going to wrap it up. And I just want to genuinely thank you for coming and spending a little bit of time with us on the Speak Organized podcast today. You can find all of Natalie's information down below if you want to connect with her. And don't forget to take advantage of all the special offers and resources that I have for you as well. Remember that you get that discount available for my Overlooked to Overbooked course and the Pro Organizer Forms Pack as an esteemed member of the Speaker fam. That is my gift to you. Make sure you get on my calendar for that coaching call if you want that one-on-one vibe, and join my free Facebook group if you're into that community aspect as well. I would love to see you around however you want to be a part of it. And beyond that, I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.